Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back to Glenn's Hot Rod Garage. We're back at the Ugly Street Truck LS swap. And we got a little bit of progress for you. You see behind me, I got the 5.3 pretty well stripped down, ready to wash and clean up before I swap the cam out. I don't know if I can get this in the view, but you can see on the ground there all the stuff that I stripped off of the engine. It's a pretty daunting task, especially if you don't know what you're doing, and I'm learning along the way, so hopefully I can pass some of that on to you. That's once. Twice. Another drink. I had a hard time getting the manifold bolts off, and I seen this in other people's videos before. I broke 2 bolts after heating them and breaking them off. They're broken. If you can see right there, it's broke off below flushing the hole. What I'll do is MIG weld a nut on there and try to back it out. It might take a couple times, but we'll get it. Same thing on the front hole on that side. After I broke 2 of them, I stopped what I was doing and rethought the process. And what I ended up doing was taking your typical propane torch and heating all the bolts on one side of the engine at one time. I'd go start at the front one and go to the back, and then go back to the front and all the way back to the back. I did that 2 times. Then I hit them with WD-40, trying to get the WD-40 so it could wick in behind the heads down the bolt, and also at the flange where it meets the cylinder head. So I let that soak for a while, and then I went through and heated them all one more time and let them cool, and they came right out with my 1/2-inch drive Milwaukee impact, the 10mm socket. So thankfully we only broke 2 of those. The next issue I ran into taking the wiring harness off was one of the injectors on the passenger side. Someone had probed the wires before on the second cylinder here, and there's some green corrosion on the wire connection where it was poked or probed into. So when you're stripping these things down, you want to take a good look at stuff and make sure, if you're reusing the harness like I am, that you're not going to have any issues with a bad cylinder because the injector wires are messed up. I'll go through and fix that when I'm installing it in the car. So other than that, another observation that I made disassembling the engine is the drain plug for the oil pan is facing right towards the engine stand upright post. So if you're doing this, you might want to drain the oil while the engine's still in the truck before you pull it out, so you don't have to deal with that afterwards. So that's pretty much it. I got the manifolds off. I got the whole harness off. I managed to get the mechanical fan off, and I learned a trick from that on YouTube. A lot of people say use the air hammer to get that off with the chisel bit, and I'm pretty destructive with that, so I didn't want to go that way. So I searched YouTube for a video, and basically a guy put a C-clamp on the pulley and tighten it down so it couldn't turn. And then you just take a crescent wrench and hammer it real quick to bust it loose, and it came right off. It didn't mess up the nut that screws onto the water pump or anything. I'm not reusing that, but maybe I can sell that and get back some of my money to throw back in this thing. Other than that, everything's going pretty good. I got the AC compressor that I'm not going to use. Someone might be interested in that. The next step is to get this off the engine stand and drain the oil and take it outside and power wash it and clean it up and get it ready to finish tearing it down for installing the cam and valve springs. But I want to clean it up first and make it so I don't get dirt from the outside of the engine to the inside of the engine while I'm doing it. I need to add up the budget and see where we're at with everything. I know I went over it in the last video, but I got some more parts to use, and I'm going to put together a thorough plan of what the next stages are so I can accurately price out what this is going to cost so I can make some improvements and not have to go through some extra trouble to do stuff like, say, reusing the manifolds. I was thinking of doing that. I could get some headers, but I do not know if there's room in the budget. And by adding everything up that I can see, we will go from there and continue on with this process. Sorry, it's been 2 weeks. I've been busy doing other stuff, and I'm going to try to have another video out for you guys real soon, like maybe Sunday night or Monday, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.